Let's take you back to the story in Cape Town, where the search for the killers of a local magistrate continues. 50-year-old Romay van Rooyen was found dead in her home on Saturday. A car was stolen and later found in Mitchell's Plain. Police Minister Bheki Cele is visiting her family today. eNCA's Nobesuthu Hejana has continued to keep tabs on developments with regards to that story. Now, Nobesuthu, the family of Romay van Rooyen is seeking answers about her death. They say the motive behind this can't just be straight robbery.
Certainly, Marcel, when we were speaking to the family outside and Romay's brother as well, she was telling us that on Saturday, Romay had an appointment with her niece, and they were meant to meet up, but when the family was trying to get a hold of her, calling her and texting her via WhatsApp, they did not manage to get a hold of her. So her sister then drove to Romay's house in Marina da Gama, and when she entered the house, she found the body of Romay on the passage, and that's when she called the family as well as the police. So her brother saying that they can't just police say this is the motive behind her murder is just robbery, because most of her items were still found in the house, nothing was destroyed, and saying that although there was an attack on Romay when she started her career years ago, he's saying that this can't be linked to that. And I did ask him whether Romay had shared anything with regards to the crimes or the court cases that she was dealing with the family, but he said she was a very private person and a very nice person who had no enemies, so it's unlikely that this was just a robbery, saying that they believe there's a hit, but at this stage obviously they can't share the details as they're still awaiting for the post-mortem report with regards to how she died or the cause of death at this stage, because they're not really saying much, as well as the police. But we spoke to the family outside the house, and the brother as well. This is what he had to say about the family's position, where they don't believe that this was just a pure robbery.
I'm no detective and no sergeant. I don't work for the SAPS, but my logic says this can't have been a robbery because all the valuables are all there. They just needed a getaway vehicle, which they took a car. And when they found the car, the ID was there and the house keys of our other house in Vredenburg, in Langebaan. So nothing was taken there in Langebaan also. So
very worrying indeed, Nobesuthu. What are we hearing from the police?
Well, the police are also tight-lipped about this. The minister who was visiting the family, Minister Cele, saying that today's visit was just to relay the condolences to the family, but it's not unusual that the Hawks are taking over, because the Western Cape's head of Hawks is not in the country, he's in Canada. So at this stage, the matter has now been overtaken by the National Hawks that will be investigating, saying that in many instances when police or senior prosecutors have died, these cases are usually investigated by the Hawks. But he was just saying that today was not just the day to relay or talk to the media about the cause of death, but what we know from the family is that on Tuesday there will be a memorial service at the Mitchell's Plain Magistrate's Court, where they will be meeting and just talking about the life of Romay, as they were explaining to us that she was a very nice person who also took care of some of the family members. But let's take a listen to Minister Cele talking about the Hawks taking over this particular case.
Well, there are many cases that will be taken by the ordinary detectives right on the middle, and then is taken by the Hawks. They do assess the weight of the case as it goes on. Maybe one thing here is that the head of Hawks is not in the country as we speak, here in the provinces in Canada. So hence the intervention had to come from the national head to say they will take the case. It's unlike the police. Every case when the police is killed is automatically taken by the Hawks, but on this one they assess and they measure, and I'm glad that finally they have assessed and they've agreed that we'll take that one off.
Bheki Cele there speaking after an update from our Nobesuthu Hejana on a high-profile gunning down in Cape Town. Of course, don't forget, included there was a gunning down of Advocate Pete Meerlik, as well as a few years ago the chief investigator of anti-gang units, Colonel Charles Kinnear. So these high-profile shootings in Cape Town very much coming through in terms of law enforcement and the arms of justice as well. Very worrying indeed.